panelists, and we're going to go in order. Ann Angstead, Julie Krieger, Sharon Bauer, Jerry Cave, then we'll start back at the beginning, and they'll direct the questions to whichever one of you they think needs to be grilled and fried, hog-tied, or whatever it is. All right, so I'll now start the formal part of the presentation. Good evening. My name's Casey Aiken. I'm the host of 21 This Week, which is aired on Montgomery Community Television, Channel 21. The show has been on the air for about 28 years. I've been the host for the past 15. Delighted to be here this evening on behalf of the 6th District congressional race and the Republican candidates who are running in this district. This forum is brought to you tonight by Legislative District 15, the Rural Women's Republican Club, the Potomac Women's Republican Club, and the Upper Montgomery Women's Republican Club. Maryland's 6th District, as you know, is one of the largest geographical districts in the United States as a result of the gerrymandering that occurred in 2010. According to the Cato Institute, Maryland's problems with gerrymandering are not new. But lately it's been making the state a laughingstock. In Frederick County, the same district map loops up to and pulls the city of Frederick, but not the strongly Republican towns that surround it, into the 6th District. It also adds several Montgomery County election precincts into the 6th Congressional District. This year's primary election, as we've all heard earlier this evening, will be held on Tuesday, April 26th. However, early voting will begin next week on April 14th and run through April 21st. Tonight, I believe we're going to try to do this so many voters in the 6th District have an opportunity to hear from the candidates. It's going to be broadcast live via Periscope and available later on YouTube. All of the announced candidates were extended an invitation to participate. With us this evening are 7, and we expect the 8th to arrive later. In alphabetical order, they're Terry Baker, Dr. Scott Shen, Robin Ficker, Ami Huber, Frank Howard, Christopher Mason, Harold Painter, and as we said, Delegate David Vogt is on his way from Annapolis. We are pleased tonight to have as our guest panelist Ann Angstead, President of the Upper Montgomery Republican Women's Club. Say hello. Sharon Bauer, President of the Rural Women's Republican Club. Jerry Cave, a member and representative of Legislative District 15 and a contributor to my show 21 This Week. And Julie Krieger, President of the Potomac Women's Republican Club. Thank you all for being here tonight. All candidates are reminded to be respectful of one another. Candidates engaging in a disrespectful manner toward other candidates can be dismissed from the debate by the moderator. Candidates will not ask questions of other candidates, and all questions will come from the panel or the moderator. Each candidate will be allowed a 1.5 minute opening statement, and all candidates will make a 2-minute closing statement. Each panelist will ask a specific question to a candidate, and the candidate will have 2 minutes to respond and is encouraged to limit their response to the question being asked. The moderator will permit a limited amount of time for rebuttal. We're going to do opening statements in alphabetical order. We're going to start with Terry Baker.
Check. Everyone hear me all right? Thank you. Before I do give my opening statement, I would like to thank everyone for putting on the event this evening. I'd like to thank the audience for being in attendance, and I'd like to thank each of the candidates. We've had many forums here in the last 3 or 4 months, and we have gotten along extremely well. We've acted very professional, and every candidate here has agreed to support the candidate that gets to advance to the general election. So I want to thank each of you for being very cordial and nice. So again, I am Terry Baker. I'm a very proud husband, parent, grandparent, and I'm a spoiled grandparent, actually. They own me. They get anything they want out of me. I am a blue-collar Republican. I have worked hard my whole entire life. I went to college and majored in industrial arts. I think many of you remember the old industrial arts programs. And I'm a very, very fortunate, lucky guy. I consider myself to be have some talent in the trades fields. And that's one of the things that we do need to bring back to our country, trades programs. As a trade person, I can go any city in the United States and get a job. Does that mean my time's up?
You have 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. I have been a dedicated public servant and educator. I'm a 3-time county commissioner. I've just retired from the Washington County Public School Systems after 34 years. I am a compassionate conservative that supports minimal government intrusion into our lives. They do need to get out of our lives. And I'm where I'm at in life today because of educators, my parents and coaches, and people like you sitting here in the audience today.
Thank you so much. Dr. Chen.
Good evening. I'm Scott Chen. I received an MD and a PhD. I completed my postdoctoral work at Northwestern University, Chicago. I have married with my wife for more than 27 years and have 2 children together. John Delaney voted for increased tax. They dispute your income. He doesn't care American security. He voted for bring refugees into Maryland without the database to check their background. He voted for Obamacare, which is a job killer. If I'm elected, I will reduce tax, create jobs, expand American business by cutting corporate tax, and remove over-regulation, repeal Obamacare. I will protect your interest. I'm a scientist. Scientists address issue logically. I can handle complicated issues and have common sense to less American. I wish you stand with me to defeat Joe Delaney. Please visit my website, voteSkeleton.com. Thank you. I love America.
Thank you. Mr. Ficker.
Nice to be with you, ladies, gentlemen, Republicans of all ages. I'm Robin Ficker, your neighbor, live down the street on Barnesville Road. I'm the only farmer up here, and I'm the only one that knows the difference between a tractor and a trickster. I'm also the only attorney, and I've had your support in 2014 when my son and I won Poolsville in both the primary and general elections, and I had your support in 2010 and was fortunate to win the primary and the general election over the Democrats in Poolsville. I got the question passed in Montgomery County to require a unanimous vote of the county council to increase property taxes more than the rate of inflation. Now these tax increase specialists in Montgomery County are talking about putting a repealer of the Ficker Amendment on the ballot this November. But believe you and me, I'm going to be there to fight them off just like we won in 2008. My other running mate, besides fighting that repealer of that tax limitation question, will be term limits. And many of you have been collecting petitions. We're going to have that term limits question on the ballot in November, and I'm going to wrap my arm around that running mate term limits question, and we're going to terminate 5 tax increase specialists.
Mr. Ficker, thank you so much. We also ask you to sit during responding to the questions.
Can't see him back here.
You can't see.
Mrs. Hover.
Good evening. I ask for your vote tonight because I believe I have the credentials, the background, and the experience to defeat John Delaney and take this district back for the Republicans. My background is primarily in national security. I have worked on national security for decades, essentially since the day I got out of college. What I care about is keeping the people of this district safe. I also have had a small business of my own, very successful small business here in Maryland, and I understand the problems of trying to grow a small business with the overregulation of government and that sort of thing, including Obamacare. I also have been an advocate for women in a variety of ways. I mentor younger women, both starting their own businesses and in the defense business. Those are the three areas where I have spent most of my time. I'm also a mother, a grandmother, and I have raised 5 stepsons. I very much am going to focus on national security, on jobs for this district, and on getting the government to be less intrusive into our lives, as well as protecting our constitutional liberties. So I ask for your vote on April 26th. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Frank Howard.
Good evening, my name is Frank Howard. Hello, Poolsville. I've knocked on almost every Republican door in Poolsville, Maryland. Many of you have gotten home and found my literature on your front door. My friends Patsy Dillingham, Jerry Bubakowski, Jeff and Ellie Meyer, some of you are here tonight. It's good to see you. I'm a proud Air Force veteran and a business owner. I was also born in Spain, adopted by a young Air Force couple, and raised in this country. I have lived, in my opinion, the American dream, and I am running for Congress because I'm very concerned about the direction of this country, and I'm very concerned that the American dream is slipping away for this and future generations. I'm therefore running for Congress primarily for 3 reasons. Number 1, in Washington, I will do what Larry Hogan is doing in Annapolis. I will bring back jobs and prosperity by backing and supporting a pro-business agenda of tax reform and regulatory reduction. Number 2, I will help keep America safe by enhancing national security, by aligning the Department of Homeland Defense, our military, and our intelligence services to the threats we face. And number 3, I will reform Congress. I have a plan to do that on my website, votefrankhoward.com, because if we can't reform Congress to do its job again, all of us up here might as well go home. I'm ready for this. I have a plan and boundless energy to make it work. I know how to compete and win, and I'm ready to get things done to get our country, our state, and the 6th District back on track.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Mason.
Hi, good evening. My name is Chris Mason. I'm a Marine Infantry veteran. Since Volt isn't here, I can be like Ficker and say I'm the only Marine Infantry veteran sitting on this panel for another 5 minutes. But no, what we have is, I'm running because we have traitors on both sides, Republicans and Democrats. All Democrats are traitors. The Democrat philosophy is communism. It's antithetical to American way of life. That's just a given. Most Republicans are traitors because they're rhinos. They're really Democrats. So I decided not to ever wear a suit in order to show you that I will not dress like the traitors, but I will dress like a patriot. So I'm making a symbolic gesture. We need to have change in Congress. Not the same old, not people wanting to be congressmen, not people wanting to take the money. I'm donating all my money to the national debt. $174,000 donated all the national debt, $20 trillion in debt. There's no money to be had. What are you going to get paid with? Debt money? This is a lot of Republican clubs represented here that are women. We don't need a man or woman in office per se. We need a person who's going to reduce the deficit, deport the illegals, support border security, also support our Second Amendment, have 12-year term limits, and also at the same time make sure that we kill our enemies quick without using PC to do it. We kill them quick, we get them out, we don't nation build, among other things. Defund the Federal Department of Education, defund the IRS, defund the GSA, defund everything. Everything needs to be defunded just about. Thank you.
Mr. Painter.
I'm Harold Painter. My campaign's focused mainly on what I view as the disappearing middle class. I think that it's pretty obvious that the people being expelled from the middle class are working folks like my parents, and we need to restore working families to the middle class. We also need to bring fiscal sanity downtown to Washington, D.C. Pretty straightforward. I want tax cuts for working families for a change, not for the wealthy. I want tariffs on imports from low-wage countries to give American businesses a chance to compete with low wages. I want to steer those jobs when they do come back to America to where they're needed most, places like Western Maryland, Cumberland, where I come from, where the manufacturing business rusted up and blew away, through the use of enterprise zones that give incentives to invest in plant and equipment where it's the jobs we need it most. When we get the jobs back, I want to use that as a springboard to cut down on the welfare state, to try to start balancing the budget, reform our fiscal problems, And when we cut down on spending, we gotta cut down on military spending too. I wanna look at our allies and tell them they have got to pick up more of the ball. We're not here to be the world's policeman and to pay for the privilege. That's the base of my campaign.
Thank you, Mr. Painter. Now we'll get into our question and answer